Hello, and welcome to Always with Awareness. I'm Awa Lodmel.
And I'm Douglas Lodmel. And today I want to talk about resistance.
Oh, jeez. Okay. All right.
And so, what I mean by resistance is when we resist something. That's the resistance I'm talking about. So, whatever it is, resist to take a class, resist to eat a certain food, resist to pray, resist to go on a trip, whatever you're resisting, it's an opportunity, because resistance is literally our internal system saying, hey, I need more capacity. I need you to upgrade the wiring system. So if you think about electricity, resistance is a word used with electricity. When the wire is too small and there's too much resistance, you can't get enough current through it. And it either doesn't work, or it melts the wire, or it explodes. It does something. So you have to match the wire and the resistance of that wire to the flow that you want.
So funny. This is the first time I ever heard that anecdote, that example.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, I'm not an electrician. You can tell by now.
Yeah. Well, I was doing some electrical work today, so it came to my mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it funny? Wow. Okay.
So resistance, wires and resistance. In fact, if you want to make a heater, what you do is you put a wire with a lot of resistance, and it gets hot because the resistance causes heat. And that's how you end up with these little electric heaters, is it's resistance. So when we're talking about our personal operating system, when we start to resist something, it's going to generate heat. It's going to generate a disruption in our system. And so it's just an opportunity for us to upgrade our wiring. And the great thing about being human, is we are self-upgradable. We can upgrade our own wiring, because it's mental wiring that we're talking about. Your resistance is coming from a belief structure that is no longer working for you, or a thought pattern that is no longer working for you.
That's right.
So that's my setup for resistance.
That's right.
Now I want to hear how you feel, see, and deal with resistance.
Well, first of all, I have to thank you, because if one show I'm going to keep and watch more than a million times is this one.
Really?
Because I love how you set it up, and I need to remind myself of just that that example. We all do have resistance at times. That's just, again, how we are.
If we're growing, we have resistance, because
Exactly.
we're flowing more current.
Exactly.
You're gonna have resistance. It's so natural. You're never gonna not have it.
Now, the thing is, when you're having the resistance, to remember that it's growth time,
Yeah.
that you need to up yourself, gather your energy, and pull up more energy. Most of the time, you want to go backwards.
Yeah.
That's the feeling. It's like, I don't want to. How do I know? I leave it most of the time, even to do this podcast. Sometimes comes a point where I built resistance. But to that, at the same time, I'm going to be honest and tell you why you're building resistance. What you say about yourself or about the thing, if it's negative, you're going to build resistance.
For sure.
So resistance comes when we have a conversation with ourselves that is not uplifting. Why we are not inspiring anymore to ourselves. I'm going to repeat that. Resistance comes when the conversation we have with our own self is not inspiring.
Yeah.
Wow, that was big, because I had to repeat it for myself.
Well, it's true. When we are saying, I don't like
Yeah,
carrots,
yeah,
when carrots come, you have resistance to eating the carrots.
that's right.
I picked carrots because that's when I was a kid. I didn't like cooked carrots to the point where when it came, I already wanted to throw up
That's right.
before I even touched the carrots
Yes,
because my mind had already created so much resistance to it that I was already boiling my heat and disrupting my body.
absolutely.
Right? So if we have resistance, it's because of something we're telling ourselves.
Exactly. And those little telling build up. Next thing you know, just like the heater, you create enough heat to either explode, that turn into a fight, a war, or fly.
A fight?
Or that's exactly a fight or flight. Now, again, we having this podcast for one thing and for one thing only. First, for ourselves to learn. Second, to share with you to create a space where you can ask yourself the questions to move on also into your own lives. Resistance is natural, by the way. It is in everything that is created and everywhere. So, how can we embrace it and use it so that when it shows up, instead of going backwards, we are inspired?
Yeah, that's the question, right?
That's
so
the question.
let's use the podcast.
Yes.
There are times when we say, it's not needed. No one's watching us. We don't, it's a lot of effort on our part.
That's right.
We don't need to do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And when we say that to ourselves,
Yes.
it's hard to get up and do it
Oh, absolutely.
because we have resistance.
That's right.
It's like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Why? Because we told ourselves nobody needs it. Nobody cares. It's not important,
That's right.
right? On the other hand, if we said, if even one person gets something from one show that changes their lives, even 1% for the better, then it's worth it.
That's
Then
right.
we already have 100 examples
Oh, my God.
because we already have people calling us and telling us,
That's right.
commenting,
Yeah.
saying it. And ironically, every time we have the resistance, somebody calls you and says,
Oh,
oh, Awa.
no, it had happened so many times that I'm like, okay, universe, I hear you, and that's what happened, by the way. The more you resist, the more universe is gonna start showing up because it's in your interest and the interests of everybody for you to move on. Why? Because you have a purpose. And that purpose, you are looking for it. And by looking for it, you have already set the momentum out there in the universe for it to sustain you back and support you back in that search.
And they say, what resists persists.
Persist.
That's because the universe just keeps sending us the message. So when you keep resisting, it's just going to keep sending you the message and keep sending you the message. And we say,
As a
feather,
gift.
hammer, boulder, freight train. It sends little feathers first, comment from somebody, a TV show that mentions it, a sign on the side of the road telling you literally exactly the answer to a question. If you don't hear it, it sometimes increases, and all of a sudden it's a hammer.
That's right.
Could be a something happens, you miss a bill, and your insurance gets canceled. You have an
Yeah.
injury,
Yeah.
and if not, boulder, car accident, something bigger. It's just, and freight train, cancer, major life-threatening things, right? Because the universe is just here to support us. It's always supporting us. But we can tell what we need to work on by looking at what we resist the most.
That's right. and to know that you had set forward, you are the one asking unconsciously for it. Because you have asked the question, what is my purpose? This I want to do. This is my dream. This is my passion. Be careful the words that you utter from your mouth, because it sets the momentum.
Or this is the relationship I want to be in.
Exactly.
Now I'm here. A lot of resistance.
Exactly.
This is the job I wanted to have. Now that I'm here, a lot of resistance. This is the car I've been dreaming about. Now that I'm here, a lot of resistance.
Exactly.
You're getting what you ask for.
And
always.
everybody that you're looking to inspire you, that you're idolizing, you must know they got where they got to because they know how to navigate those waves of resistance.
Yeah.
So if you are wanting anything, unless you are dead crawling under a hole, as long as you have desires and you want something and you're looking and searching for your purpose and you wanting, resistance will come and meet you. Why? That's the way we grow. Yeah. It's not here for you to run backwards or the only one thing you can do, by the way, is change direction. It will meet you somewhere else the minute you set the direction again.
Well, or you can try to arrange your life to where there's no growth. You literally retire into a little hole of your own making that you live the most defined life you can live with no inputs and no stresses. You'll have less resistance because you're not growing. But if you're growing, you're going to have resistance. It's funny, it makes me think about, we used to call it weightlifting. Now we call it resistance training. Weights are resistance. And why do people go to the gym and do resistance training?
Yes.
To grow their muscles, to grow their strength.
Yeah.
Resistance is a positive thing. It's a beautiful thing. If we learn that it's the sign that that's the area in which we are ready to grow.
That's right.
And so we are ourselves experiencing it all the time. And we know that's the area that we need to grow. This podcast is one area that we have committed to, we've decided to do. And of course, you have your initial burst of energy and it's easy for 30 shows. And all of a sudden the resistance shows up.
That's right.
And all of a sudden, is anybody listening? Does this really matter? Is it important? And the story we tell ourselves starts to turn a little negative. And then the resistance comes up and then it's harder to sit down and do the next show.
That's right.
But that's our opportunity to grow. This is our space to grow. And we're doing it for us. And we're doing it for you. We're doing it for all of us.
For sure.
Because we don't see you as separate, by the way.
No, it cannot be. But anyway, that's about resistance. It is definitely human. We all will experience it from very young age, by the way. You can see it in your kids already. Teenagers, if you have any at home, oh my God.
They live in resistance.
They live in...
That's their purpose in life, resistance.
I know. And it could be very damaging when you go against the current, meaning you're not growing from it, you're not learning from it, you're not knowing that it's coming for you to open up to a bigger you, So embrace it, see it, acknowledge, take your time. I'm not saying that always you're going to have all the energy it takes. It's actually, it's even, I think this is the way it works. The more buildup of the resistance, the longer you take, the harder it will be to jump back.
Back.
To, like, let's say the podcast. The longer you stay without doing it, the harder it will be.
It is to get back to it.
Back to it.
Yeah, the more you let resistance win,
Absolutely.
the bigger the resistance is.
It is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And it's the same with asking for forgiveness, to forgive others, somebody who hurted you. Same thing. When you're resisting to forgive, the harder it is to find peace yourself, to forgive yourself first. So it is a very difficult state, but one that is very inspiring once you break free.
Well, once you actually dive into and lean into the thing that you're resisting, wow, it's almost like growth just starts. It's like you hit the slippery slide.
I know.
It's just boom,
Yeah.
off you go, and it's amazing. And so it's part of that growth process. It's part of that spiritual growth process. So it's one of the things that once you've done it a few times, you actually learn to look forward to. You're like, I've been through this. I've been to this rodeo. This is how this works.
Exactly.
I'm gonna do the thing I'm resisting. I'm gonna dive in and do the very thing I'm resisting.
Yes.
And I can think of, oh my God, dozens of things in my own life, dozens that I just resisted hard, only to find out that that's exactly where I needed to be. And when I went there, oh my God, I progressed so much from my business to my personal life to my relationships to my marriage. My spirituality is number one.
Yeah.
You know, so I am a fan of resistance. I know what it is. I can see it. I know when it's coming. When it's there, it comes up, and I know that it means it's time. Now, it doesn't mean that I sometimes still don't take an extra watch and delay.
Yeah.
You're free to do that. Yeah. There are times when I see it and I know I'm going to have to do this, but I'm not quite ready. I need another month. I need another year, whatever it is. And so I will say to myself, I know, and I'm going to do it. I just need the time. That's okay. That's just being self-aware.
That's right.
And it's okay to do. The main thing is to recognize the resistance, recognize how valuable it is to you and where you're resisting in your own life.
Yeah.
And when it happens, just know it's going to be perfect.
Because you know, I think the main thing is to not own it, to not own the resistance, to not say it's me.
Yeah, it's me. I just don't like carrots.
Right? So once you just separate and you can see, like, again, like, now you get that, wow, everybody live that way. This is human. That, you know, is here to actually lift me. Is here to help me grow. You know, then you can finally, like we explained, embrace it and say, okay, you know, next time. And again, all of this is all about momentum. The more you can separate yourself from your emotion, and the more you can jump and use them, you get now to love it. You get to be a master at it, where now it doesn't take time anymore. You know, you're not gonna procrastinate on your next growth because you know how amazing it is.
Yeah,
you know, how freeing, actually, if anything, how freeing it is. You know, and what's bigger emotion than freedom?
It feels pretty darn good,
right?
When you feel free because you've broken through something.
Yeah.
You know, in the spiritual world, there's a saying: "It's all about recovery time." It's all it really is. It's how quickly can we recognize it and recover.
That's right.
It's not, are you going to have the feeling? Are you going to fall down that path of that rabbit hole of that belief? Are you going to be triggered? Are you going to experience resistance? The answer is yes. Yes. The question is, how quickly can you recover? A true master recovers just simultaneously. It comes up, and they literally let it go in the same moment. For the rest of us, we can be working towards that, and in some areas, I can do that. Yeah. It rises, and in the very same moment, I let it go.
Yeah, when it's still in a thought and not an emotion.
When it's still a thought before it becomes an emotion. If it gets to become an emotion, it's going to take a minute.
Well,
you
yeah,
know.
because then it's action,
Yeah,
and
now
then
it's turned into something real, right?
yeah, something real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which if we haven't said it before many times, your thoughts create your emotions motivate your
Belief.
actions.
Yeah, and then
And so your thoughts turn into beliefs, which turn into strong, you know, emotion drivers. And so you're living in the emotional state that represents the beliefs that you have, which are powered by your thoughts. You can always change your thoughts. It's hard sometimes because your beliefs will resist. You will resist changing a belief with a new thought because it's been with you so long you consider it true.
that's right.
It's not true, by the way.
Well, by the time it became a belief, that's it.
That's it. You think it's the
You're
truth.
not thinking anymore
Yeah.
because you believe in it.
You
So
believe
why
it.
think a different thought?
Yeah.
Even if a different thought come into your mind, it's like that's not me. I already believe in this, so it can't be me. You
Yeah.
know. So anyway, we not wanna take you to another route here,
Right.
but that's what it is with resistance too, right? Like we said earlier, it starts with the thinking. The thinking gets to be positive. You get all the energy until you start getting tired of it. That's how it starts. I'm tired of it. Next thing you know, somebody else is not doing the right thing for me to show up. Okay, now you're adding. Then next thing you know, well, is it even good for me? Oh, there's a third thought. Oh,
Next thing you know, you're resisting the heck out of it.
and now you're resisting.
By the way, we did a show on divorce. That's right how you get there. Take the things that you're resisting and build upon them until you can't stand to look at that person you're married to.
Absolutely.
Easy to do. Easy to get divorced.
You know.
Easy to go there.
and I gotta say I love this because it's we have to be reminded that that's how we function as humans. And then you want to be enlightened. Well, to be enlightened is to know exactly how you function. So once you know how you function, you know what not to do and what to do. So definitely what not to do is just keep on saying the wrong things about the thing and expecting a different outcome. It's not going to happen. So anyway, about resistance, that's how it's built up. Next thing is built up, you can't move and you paralyze.
Yeah. By the way, if you want a new car, I'll give you the formula. Find every flaw in your current car. Just look for them. The mileage is not great. There's a little bit of a tear on the seat. The clock doesn't work on the dashboard. Just start noticing all those things. That's the first step. And next thing you know, your whole thing will be like, and you'll start resisting wanting to even be in that car. And next thing you know, you're talking about all the reasons why
Exactly.
you're justified to get a new car because even though it's expensive and you can't really afford it right now, you're going to do it anyway because I just can't drive that car one more day.
I know.
And it's because you built up a story about why you don't want that car.
Absolutely.
Or that wife. Or that husband. Or that job. All of those are just easy to track back and see. So the power comes when you actually just say, I'm choosing a new car. I don't have any reasons. I don't have any story around it. Just choosing it.
I know.
Then you're in a position of power, and you don't trick your mind into building resistance just to try to get to a decision. Because believe me, when you make that decision based on a resistance type of pathway, the new car doesn't do anything but make it a bigger resistance. Because guess what? That new car is going to be too expensive. Your insurance is going to be more than you thought. It's going to burn tires that are super expensive. And next thing you know, you're resisting that car. Because I'm spending twice as much money. Now you're dreaming of your old car.
Yeah.
Just be in power by choosing. Don't train yourself to find all the resistance points and use resistance to make decisions in your life.
That's right. And that's how we end up doing this podcast, because we made it clear that it's not for anybody but us first. Why? Because we're learning all the time. Again, we're going to remind you this is not scripted. We don't know what we're going to talk about.
We don't even know what we're going to talk about when we sit down.
We're listening to it just like you, and we love it. We learn all the time. it definitely had changed a lot of who we are and our relationship with ourselves and everything else. And definitely, if we just change one person, then it's enough because it's never one person. That person has a whole world. That person is affecting his or her own world. And if that is not enough, nothing will be. So being clear with that is so easy for me to sit here to do this sometimes until the resistance is high again, but I can always count on Doug to bring me back. So anyway, that was about resistance. It's, in short, something that we all gonna live. But remember, you are supported here. It's gonna come, but you have all the tools. Watch your thoughts. What are you saying to yourself that is making you want to change something that is maybe you're not ready to change, or you had loved so much that is asking you to be just a little bit more patient with yourself. Listen, and again, you are learning how to navigate resistance, not because of what you're getting, but because you, for you, to have ease, to live a life of ease. It's that simple.
Yeah, well, when you upgrade the wire to the right wiring, the electricity goes with ease. Nothing blows up.
Exactly.
You got plenty of power. It's the same inside you.
That's
When
right.
you upgrade your wiring, your life gets easier.
Ease.
When you grow again, that same wiring, which was an upgrade, now needs to be upgraded again. So it's never, you're never at a stopping point. You're just constantly upgrading. The good thing is that it's not one wire, it's millions of wires, and you don't have to do them all at once. You can do them section by section and piece by piece, and that's what we are doing. We are growing in multiple areas at the same time, and sometimes we go fast in one area and another area lags, and then we have to go back and bring it up. That's just the nature of it.
Yes, that's the nature of life. Not easy, but you can live it with ease.
You can live it with ease. Yeah.
You know, you growing, you navigating your resistance might not give you an easy life, but definitely you find ease living life in all areas of your life. And that's the goal here.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's the goal, to grow
All
and
right.
to live with an easy burden.
Yeah.
Just easy.
Oh, that was, Jesus said that.
My burden is easy and my yoke is light. My yoke is easy, my burden is light. My
Yes.
yoke is easy, my burden is light.
There you go. All right.
So that's where we're going with this. I hope you enjoyed our resistance show.
Exactly.
We did it with a little resistance, I'm going to tell you.
I know.
Please like and comment and share and let us know what you think. We're happy to hear it. And we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
And if you resist in getting this message, and you're the type that say, it's easy for you to say that one, and you recognize yourself, no, it's a resistance, you're okay. We love you anyway. Ciao.
Bye. See you next time.